You know, there's something rather peculiar that happens when you begin to wake up. And I don't mean waking up in the ordinary sense of opening your eyes after a good night's sleep. I'm talking about that other kind of awakening, the one that doesn't happen in the morning, but in the middle of your life, often without warning, often without your permission. It usually begins quietly. A tiny crack forms in the wall you've spent years building, the wall of goals, anxieties, plans, and all the next steps you were told would finally make you feel whole. And through that crack, a strange light slips in. A light that doesn't demand anything from you, doesn't promise anything to you. It simply reveals that the room you've been pacing in isn't locked at all. For the first time, you begin to sense that this whole thing, life, identity, self-improvement, the endless need to figure it out, may not be the serious, high-stakes exam you believed it was. It may be something looser, lighter, a game, a dance, a magnificent improvisation where the music has been playing all along, but you were too busy counting steps to hear it. And this realization is unsettling, because the mind, poor thing, has been trained like a guard dog. It believes it must protect you from uncertainty at all costs. It growls at anything it cannot predict. It collects rules, philosophies, motivational quotes, 5-year plans, all as a way of saying, stay with me. I know how this world works. I'll keep you safe. But then, one day, something inside you doesn't believe it. Not fully. Not anymore. Maybe it's a moment of exhaustion. Maybe it's a moment of clarity. Maybe it's the quiet shock of feeling deeply tired of chasing things you don't actually want. Whatever the reason, a shift occurs. You begin noticing the absurdity of the chase itself. Like watching a dog trying to bite its own tail, you suddenly see the circular logic of your striving. If I can just become the person I should be, then I'll finally be allowed to relax. The entire premise collapses because you realize, with equal parts dread and relief, that the finish line keeps moving precisely because you're the one moving it. And in that moment, something softens, something stops, something listens. You feel, for the first time in a very long time, the texture of the present moment without trying to manipulate it, without trying to escape it, without trying to turn it into a stepping stone to something better. This is the beginning of waking up. Not a grand enlightenment, not a spiritual fireworks show, but a subtle undoing. The recognition that the cage was never locked, the storm was never chasing you, and the voice you've been running from is simply your own echo bouncing off the walls of an imaginary maze. But of course, this is only the doorway. You've noticed the crack in the wall. Now you have to dare to look through it. If you look long enough through that small crack in the wall, something astonishing begins to reveal itself. Not a secret in the dramatic sense, no cosmic password, no mystical technique, no 7-step blueprint whispered by gurus after midnight. No, the truth that slips through that opening is far simpler. So simple, in fact, that it feels almost insulting. It's the realization that there is absolutely nothing you need to do to become what you already are. And the mind hates that. Because the mind survives by doing, by pushing, by polishing the self like a trophy it hopes to someday display on a spiritual shelf. The mind likes to imagine you as a kind of cosmic intern, not yet qualified, not yet worthy, not yet whole, but maybe, just maybe, you'll get promoted if you meditate enough, read enough, improve enough, strive enough. So when this truth appears, this gentle whisper that says, "You're already it," the mind reacts the way a devout collector reacts when told the treasure they've been hunting for decades has been sitting in their attic all along. It says, "That can't be it. That's too easy. Give me something harder." But the truth doesn't negotiate. It just sits there, quietly glowing, waiting for you to notice that the seeker and the sought have always been the same movement. That the wave and the ocean were never separate things. That the observer you think you are is simply the observed wearing a temporary mask. And this is where the paradox takes center stage. Because once you glimpse this truth, even for a fraction of a second, you feel an urge, a burning desire to tell someone, to share it, to announce it like breaking news. Everyone, listen! There's nothing to search for. You're already what you've been trying so hard to become. But the universe, with a sense of humor only the universe could have, puts a finger over its lips and quietly says, "Shh, not yet." Because here's the delicious and frustrating twist. If you tell someone this truth too directly, they won't see it. Not because they're incapable, but because seeing isn't an intellectual act. You can't hand it to someone like a gift-wrapped idea. If you try, one of two things will happen, neither of them helpful. Either they reject it outright because it contradicts every rule the world taught them about progress, effort, and becoming. Or worse, they accept it too quickly and turn it into a concept. They'll say, "Ah, yes, I get it," and place it neatly on the shelf beside their other borrowed beliefs, never realizing that the moment you turn truth into a possession, you've lost it completely. It slips right through your fingers, like trying to catch your own shadow. Run after it, and it moves away. Stop running, and there it is, resting quietly beneath your feet. And that is why the truth remains hidden. Not because it's far away, not because it's complicated, but because it is so intimately close that most people will overlook it in their frantic search for something grander. This is the cosmic joke. The treasure you seek is the very ground you stand on. Now, once you've glimpsed this truth, even just a sliver of it, something mischievous happens inside you. A kind of spiritual enthusiasm takes over. You feel like someone who has discovered a hidden doorway in the house you've lived in your whole life. You want to run around telling everyone, "Look, look, there's another room. The walls weren't real." But the universe, still amused, still patient, gently shakes its head. Because this is the great irony. The more directly you try to tell someone the truth, the further it slips from them. It's not that they're unwilling. It's that the mind has built-in defense mechanisms, not against awakening, but against anything that threatens its role as the center of the story. Tell someone, "You're already what you're seeking," and the mind responds in one of two predictable ways. The first is rejection. "That can't be true. Life is about improvement, effort, struggle, becoming. Don't take that away from me." The second is acceptance, but the shallow kind, the conceptual kind. "Ah, yes, I understand. I've heard this before. I'll add it to my collection of profound quotes." And there it goes. The living truth collapses into a dead idea. This is why real teachers throughout history refuse to hand the truth to you on a silver platter. They speak in riddles. They contradict themselves. They smile in ways that make you uncomfortable. They point at the moon and insist you don't confuse their finger for the destination. They know that the moment they put the truth into a neat sentence, your mind will laminate it, categorize it, and place it somewhere safe, which is the worst thing that could happen to a living truth. A living truth cannot survive being turned into a belief. It needs to be discovered, not memorized. This is why Zen monks sit you in front of impossible puzzles, asking you questions like, "What is the sound of one hand clapping?" Not because they want you to solve it, but because they want your thinking mind to exhaust itself, collapse like a tired horse, and finally become quiet enough for reality to slip through. It's the same reason spiritual teachings sometimes sound circular, contradictory, or downright nonsensical. They're not trying to confuse you. They're trying to guide you to the edge of the cliff where the mind loses its footing and falls into silence. And in that silence, you see. Not because someone told you, but because nothing stood between you and what has always been here. It's like teaching someone to ride a bicycle. You can explain balance and motion all day, but until they wobble, fall, shake, and suddenly discover the rhythm themselves, they won't know. And once they do know, they can't explain how they know. The knowing is in their bones. So, awakened people don't hand out answers. They hand out mirrors. They don't give instructions, they create conditions. They don't offer conclusions, they offer questions that unravel the one asking them. This is the art of teaching without teaching, the paradoxical way that saying less reveals more. The quiet recognition that the truth is too alive to be trapped in explanations. And that is why the awakened stay subtle, not silent, but sly, not secretive, but skillful, not withholding, but wise enough to know that discovery, not explanation, is the doorway. There comes a moment, after the confusion, after the paradoxes, after the mental gymnastics, when the realization stops being an idea and starts becoming a way of breathing, a way of walking, a way of listening. Something shifts from the head into the bones. And this is where the real challenge begins. How do you live the truth without turning it into a performance? Because a strange temptation emerges after awakening. You want to look awakened. You want others to see that you've seen something. You want, ironically, for your lack of identity to become a new and improved identity. But awakening doesn't make you a spiritual superhero. It doesn't give you a special aura or a golden glow or a VIP pass to reality. In fact, it makes you startlingly ordinary. You still get hungry, you still get sad, you still lose your keys, spill your coffee, and occasionally say things you regret. The difference is that these moments don't define you anymore. They don't cling. They don't become chapters in a story about who you are supposed to be. You simply live, lightly, fluidly, the way water fills any container without needing to announce its shape. And this ordinariness is not a flaw of awakening. It's the camouflage that allows awakened people to move through the world without becoming shrines. Because if awakening made you visibly extraordinary, people would worship the form rather than discover the essence. They'd imitate your gestures, copy your words, mimic your habits, and miss the entire point. Awakening is not about acting enlightened. It's about not acting at all. And so, awakened people keep the truth hidden by embodying it rather than advertising it. Not hidden like a secret locked in a vault, but hidden like oxygen, everywhere and invisible. They speak gently, not because they're timid, but because they understand how fragile the mind's defenses can be. They step softly, not because they're uncertain, but because they recognize that every person they meet is carrying a story they believe is real. This is compassion, the real kind. Not the warm, sentimental desire to make everyone feel better, but the deeper recognition that every person is on their own perfect timeline. That suffering isn't a mistake, but part of the unfolding. That confusion is not a failure, but a phase. That no one awakens early or late, only right on time. And so, the awakened person guides lightly. They listen more than they speak. They let others find their way, even when that path detours into darkness. They don't rush someone out of their pain, because they know that pain often burns away the illusions the mind refuses to release. To live this truth is to stop trying to correct the world. Stop trying to fix people. Stop trying to convert anyone into your discovery. Instead, you become like a mirror, reflecting others back to themselves without distortion. Not pushing, not pulling, simply being. And in that presence, people begin to feel something they haven't felt in years. The safety to question their own assumptions. The permission to soften. The space to breathe. This is the quiet transmission. Not motivational, not instructional, just a living demonstration that freedom is possible and ordinary and already here. And that is how the truth remains hidden. By being so natural that no one thinks to look for it. By the time the truth settles into you, not as knowledge, but as presence, something beautifully anticlimactic happens. The great cosmic secret you thought you were chasing turns out not to be a secret at all.
All but the most obvious thing in the world. The kind of thing so simple, so intimate, so unavoidably here, that it hides in plain sight. You realize the truth was never hidden from you. It was hidden as you. And this is where the whole journey circles back to its beginning. Because you might have expected enlightenment to feel like a mountaintop victory, a final achievement, a divine badge you get to wear. But instead, it feels like settling into your own skin. Like coming home from a long trip you never actually took. Like waking up not to a new world, but to the one you've been living in all along, seen without the fog of becoming. And now, a new question arises. What do I do with this? And the answer, curiously, is nothing. Not nothing in the sense of passivity or avoidance, but nothing in the sense of not turning it into a project, not marketing your awakening, not using it as a shield, not weaponizing it against others, not rushing to explain it before it has ripened in you. Instead, you live, you breathe. You let this ordinariness radiate without effort. You find yourself laughing more easily, not because life has gotten easier, but because you see the game for what it is. You still play your roles: parent, partner, friend, worker. But now you play them the way a great actor plays a character. Fully, sincerely, but without forgetting the stage beneath your feet. And from this place, something subtle begins to happen. People around you soften. Not because you preach to them, not because you convince them, but because your presence gives them permission to be themselves, even for a moment. They stop performing. They stop defending. They stop tightening around their anxieties. They sense something spacious in you, something unhurried, unafraid, and it resonates, the way one tuning fork vibrates another across a room. This is the hidden transmission. This is the real teaching. Being, meeting being. Not teaching someone the truth, but reminding them quietly that they've always known. And now, the invitation comes back to you, the viewer, listening right now. You don't need to chase anything. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to become someone worthy of your own attention. The truth is not waiting at the end of your achievements. It's humming beneath this very moment, in the pulse of your breath, in the quiet awareness noticing these words, in the stillness behind every thought and feeling. So, pause. Not to search, but to look at what's already here. If something in you stirred while listening, a softness, a curiosity, a sense of, oh, then let that be enough. Let it unfold. Let it show you what you've never actually been separate from. And if this spoke to you, if it opened something in you, I'd love to hear it. Share your reflections. Share your questions. Share the moment where the crack in your own wall appeared. Because sometimes, all it takes is one honest comment, one shared recognition, to help someone else look up, pause, and discover that the truth they've been chasing has been quietly waiting inside them the whole time. If you'd like, Seb, I can now generate your SEO-optimized titles and descriptions for this script.